welcome to my channel. I am Sarah Arciniega and I love to scrapbook. Today I'm going to do a two-page layout. And the reason I have the page on the left is because I'm going to use this as my inspiration. I made this page last fall when the I Want Candy collection came out from Close to My Heart. At the time of this filming, it is still available, so I will put a shopping link at the bottom in the description. But today I want to turn my attention to these adorable pictures of my niece. This is from many, many years ago, and she was visiting from out of town. And while she was there, her mother captured these pictures of us playing. And what I'm doing is popping her up into the air, and her little facial expressions are just adorable. And so I wanted to do a page documenting that. And so this page on the left that I'm using as my starting place, it's basically just a simple strip page, right? But I did like the dimensions, and so rather than figuring that out again, I wanted to just copy it. So with the Let's Party collection, it is a birthday collection, but it has this cute yay paper, and I can just see my niece being like, yay, like let's go again. And so I just thought it was a cute paper to use on a non-birthday layout. And so keep that in mind when you look at collections, that oftentimes you can use them for more than just what comes to you at first glance. I brought in the sprinkle paper, and then here I'm kind of debating whether or not I want to use the glitter paper, the ballerina color, or if I want to use this candy apple shimmer trim that I picked up during the last sale that Close to My Heart had. So the rest of my video could be titled Lessons Learned, and that's actually what I titled the whole video. But the reason I did that is because just like in sports, when they go back and watch film and watch their plays and they learn from it, I actually learn a lot watching myself scrapbook. And I think it's really interesting. Like, hindsight really is 2020. So I look at some things and I'm like, oh, why didn't you see that? And it's just kind of funny. So I just thought I'd point a few of those things out as we go through the video and just focus on lessons I learned. And so right here, I'm basically just trying out a bunch of different papers. I didn't like the jade paper there. This red, I feel like it's way too bold. And I am actually not liking that white strip at the bottom. And here again, looking hindsight, I actually think that it would be better if I took the top strip and put that on the bottom. It is wider and heavier, and oftentimes you want your heavier elements toward the bottom of the page. It just kind of grounds the page. And so I think there again, if I could go back in time, I would say, you know what, let me flip these papers and put the wider strip at the bottom. And for some reason, like on the Halloween layout, it doesn't bother me, but on this one it was. And so I did flip over the confetti paper, and I'm trying the check. I do like the check here. But there again, that black strip, there again, I think it's way too dark. And so what I eventually landed on was using a periwinkle paper. And periwinkle is actually not one of the colors listed on this, collection list, but it is included in the card making workshop. And so I tried it and I really loved how it looked. I wanted a lighter color there in the middle. And so I used that. I also added the glitter trim on both sides of, where the yay paper is. And then at the last minute, I threw in the cute diagonal striped border from the sticker sheet. That's from the sticker sheet. So I backed all of my pictures in ballerina. One reason I did that is because of the colors in her shirt. And so that's always a tip, is to look at your pictures for some cues on what would be good to use there. So with my pictures placed, I'm ready to move on. And so on my left, I will do a title, and then on my right empty space, I will put some journaling. My first idea for journaling was to do it on a tag, but there again, my tag wasn't quite big enough, and I just felt like it was like floating over there. I could have actually flipped the tag and maybe put like another tag behind it to layer, and I think that would have looked cute, and it would have left some more room for some embellishments over there. But there again, when I typed my journaling, I had lots to say, and so I did actually fill up the space just fine with the journaling. I actually thought about doing strip journaling as well over there, but there again, I just always have lots to say. And so what I do next is I do a whole lot of playing with stars and the hearts from the sticker sheet, and just trying to place little things here and there to balance everything out. And so while I do that, I thought I would just read my journaling real quick. It says, when the girls were in town, I became a source of entertainment. They loved getting bounced up in the air. Froggy was probably the tamest ride. Then there was a modified Froggy where they bounced into the air a lot more. There was airplane. I added turbulence to the airplane ride that produced a lot of giggles. Then there was circus performer where they would stand on my hands and put their hands on my feet and have to balance as I lifted them up into the air. They went pretty high. Then there was the classic flip over. The girls would line up. As soon as one was done, the next was yelling what trick they wanted to do. Eventually, my arms, abs, or legs would need a break. So much fun. And then I have a little paragraph that says, looking back, this is probably why I was a fun babysitter in high school. The kids I babysat loved all the tricks too. Luckily, no one ever got hurt. And I just love that this memory actually brought in like another memory of mine that I was able to document. What I was just showing was where I got my title from. It says, You're a Whole Lot of Awesome. And it came from a stamp set called You Go Girl. It was part of a card making workshop special that ran last fall. As of this filming, it is also still available, and so I will link that in the description as well. But it is a lot of fun. When I first got it, I, of course, got it out and just played with it and stamped a bunch of things. And so I just kind of had them in a little container, on my table. And when I looked over and saw it, I thought, oh, that would be so cute to put on this page. And it was perfect. So that's where that came from. While I continue playing with embellishments and trying to balance things out here, I have a question for you. So as I make layouts, most of the time, I just do the pages that need to be done and things like that. But I am curious, as a subscriber or someone who likes to watch scrapbook layout process videos, what are you most curious about? Like, what would you like to see as I plan out my content for 2024? Or what techniques do you like to see, or what's a question you have about scrapbooking? I would love for any of that to be left down in the comments so I can do things that help you guys out. And if I don't know some of the answers, it will give me something to look into and research. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, I would love for you to push the subscribe button. That way you won't miss any future content that's coming. I do want to make a note. I did try to balance like the green, and so you can see my big star over on the left, and that's why I opted to put the bigger heart over there on the right, so that there is a balance. And so in most of my clusters, I did try to use most of the colors so that they were not just in one spot on the page. This last little spot here, I kept trying to use all these cute little strip elements that they had on the sticker sheet, but none of them were working. I think the reason for that is because of the, all those straight lines, and it was just like one more line that didn't need to be there. So at this point, I'm about done, and think things are balanced. There was too much space though in the title area, and so here's where I make a big mistake. So I thought, oh, let's just use these cute stars as a filler. That actually looks okay, but the ones on the top that I did under the picture, I should have brought them out further so more of them were visible. And so now it looks like this just really weird spot. And so then I'm like, okay, so we need to balance that out. And here comes the star explosion. And so there again, lessons learned. Make sure that you're a little more careful about where you're planning your, scatter stamps. And sometimes less is more, definitely in this case. And at this point, I do kind of have a visual triangle of the scatter stars, but then I need to balance it out on the other side. And so I have to kind of pull up some stickers and pull up the picture. And there again, like I said, by the time I did some over here, there were just some like weird gaps that looked like they were missing it. And it just didn't work very well. And so I could have ripped everything up and redone it. But I opted not to, and actually maybe that's the most important lesson I learned. Not every page has to be a masterpiece. We do this to preserve our memories, and so if one is not your favorite, that's okay. The memory's been documented. Thanks for joining me today. Have a great one. Bye-bye.